the intro. Just waiting for a few people to join in, and I'll get some track information up, and we'll get going. This all going to be racing, just the 9 people. The product So once everyone's in and ready, we'll get going with the intro, and hopefully have a fun night of racing. Well, let's just get the link to the stream so people know what they're going to watch and where to come look for it. Once I see people start to ready up, it looks like we are ready up now. I'll get to the intro. Right. So, looks like everyone's ready up now. So, hey there everyone, and welcome to APPF1 night community race. just some fun in F2 cars here at the Sochi Autodrome, built recently. It held the first round of the Formula 1 World Championship in 2014, built around the Sochi Olympic Park. 18 corners, 11 to the right and 7 to the left, with 5.8 kilometers in lap length, 3.6 roughly. So we'll be here for 28 laps of the Sochi Autodrome here in the Formula 2 cars, about the same distance as in the real life Formula 2 feature race. So pole position will be starting on the left hand side of the track with a pretty long run down into what you could call turn 1. Not officially, it's the first braking zone. It's about 890 meters, with about 75% of the track taken at full throttle. The longest flat out section coming in about 1 kilometer long, about 54 gear changes per lap, with a 25-second pit lane loss. So a lot to work for today. It's a very challenging circuit, can provide quite a good bit of entertainment here in the Formula 2 car. Not so much provided in Formula 1 race. Had a couple of decent races in the last couple of years. 2019 had a bit of drama in it with the Ferrari mishap. Charles Leclerc, especially, having a bit of an argument between on team radio, and obviously with Vettel's signature quote of "bring back the V12s" when his ECU broke down coming in to the final corner, which caused the virtual safety car and lost his teammate the race, funnily enough. So definitely going to be an interesting race today. I've heard it can be a pretty good racing against these guys, pretty good drivers from what I've heard, very good racing. So my apologies for that. So as we are now loading into the lobby for the formation lap, good opportunity for the drivers here to practice some race starts, get a bit of a feel for the cars before the race start. So lining up on the grid then, it's custom grid order. So we've got Lauren on your pole position, followed by Taylor, Callum, Sonic, Ian, Scott, Sarge, Davila and Pal. So I don't know, I'll call him Pals because why not? So these Formula 2 cars sounding pretty nice. I don't really know the engine specs, but with the spec chassis there on them, so all even for today's race. Also the new spec tyres for next year, and it's going to be a pretty interesting race with these cars. Very challenging, definitely drive, especially on the traction, and I've heard a lot of people are running no assist, so that's going to be really really interesting to see where people can make their time up and who's going to be really fighting the car off the race start, and especially coming out of the tricky traction zones of especially in the final sector with the 90-degree corners and the chicane high braking zones Also, so it's going to be very difficult. Lauren appears to have just shot off there in the distance in the Dams car, I believe that is. Yes, the Dams car, because it is damaged. So, got Dams at 1-2 out in front, where Nicholas Latifi, the vice champion of 2019, drove in 2019. Now a Williams Formula 1 driver, doing pretty well, pretty good for his rookie season. A lot of people giving him a bit of stick for his father's money, but that's Formula 1, and he's done quite a bit to prove himself already. Not too bad behind the wheel of the car, and obviously he finished second in the championship, so he can't be too bad. But looking up to be a pretty good race, just while they're getting the final stages of their tyre warming done before we go to the grid to go to the 5 red lights. With Ron on pole, you can see there's quite a bit of understeer there for the Dams car. So now, just before the pit lane, as the game takes over, the AI control as they line up on the grid. Very spread out field with the race lab of House towards the back of the grid, so just going to back these guys up. Very different, there's a lot of different tyres on the cars. Nope, everyone's going for the super soft tyres as they line up on the grid then. So as pole is lining up on the left hand side of the grid for the run into turn 1, it's going to be crucial for them to get a good start, because if second gets a good start, they're already up the inside, which is going to be a perfect opportunity for them. So we're going to go to the 5 red lights, lap 2, not too sure why it said that. Now we're on lap 1, as we go to the lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it is lights out, and away we go, and P2's got a flyer of a start there, already alongside and ahead of the pole sitter, and there's a crash towards the back. That looks like it is Callum towards the back, but they're going to be 3 abreast in the slipstream. It's a long run to the first braking zone. So we have a Prema on the inside, the second place man trying to cover off, braking early. The UNI Virtuosi having a bit of contact towards the back. 3 cars off, 4 cars off at turn 1, and the Carlin car there has been spun round coming out of turn 2, similar to Carlos Sainz in 2020 race. But it is so far Taylor, your second place man, leading the way, followed by Sonic and the UNI Virtuosi going forward lunge there, similar to where Valtteri Bottas went for a move on Kimi Räikkönen. But coming in to this corner then, the Virtuosi on the inside, Prema sticking it around the outside off the track, and it looks like Sarge is going to take that position over the other car, and he looks like he's gone for a move for the race lead around the outside. There's a bit of contact there as Lauren makes most of this, and Taylor's been swamped completely there, down to 4th place now, and has the BWT sponsored car on his tail. It looks like he's going to be able to get the move done. Is he going to be able to come to around the outside? No, it looks like the BWT of Davila is going to think better of it, but he's got a good run, good traction off the corner, coming to the straight. He set up that car back pretty well, coming down this long flat out section. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. Is he going to go for it down the inside? Is he going to be later on the brakes? He's going to swoop around the outside, bit of a lock up. He's going to take himself off track, so they're going to still be side by side. He's looking around the outside, giving him space, and it looks like Scott is wanting to get involved in this as well. He's going to follow the Dams through on the inside, up the inside of the BWT sponsored car. Looks like he has made the most of this opportunity, and he's going to be looking to get up the inside, but it looks like he just can't get the run off the corner that he wants to. Davila back up the inside into the penultimate corner. Taylor's going to drive himself off the track. Davila battle for 4th place now, locks up. There's a bit of contact. He's going to take that position as we go on to lap 2. Further up in front, it looks like Lauren has retaken the lead as Sarge is disconnected. Sonic looking behind him as well. Looks like there's a pretty big gap back down the field. Sarge in AI mode, so he's going to be disconnected for the time being. Hopefully he can get back in. And Ian, the man who spun round first lap, looking to make up for some lost ground as he spun round in the exact same place again. Commentator's curse there, and he looks like he just can't get the power down and is struggling for grip in these earlier stages of the race. Lauren going for the move of the on-track race lead, and it looks like Sonic is looking to make up some positions as well. A bit of a grid order mess up. These guys are fighting for P1 and P2. The UNI Virtuosi has been able to unghost now and is retaken that P2 position. Lauren's still up in front, fighting hard. It's going to be these two for the race lead. Bit of a gap back to Davila as they were having a pretty fierce fight in these earlier stages. Still going at it though. Scott looking on the inside. Davila goes really wide. Scott takes to the racing line. It's a very much shorter and quicker line to take. He's going to look to the outside, thinks better of it, and he's going to try and look for a switchback. But Davila takes the racing line very nicely there, parking his car. Good defending is Taylor, who took the lead on the first lap, now down in 6th place in the slipstream. Then on the run down into the fast and heavy braking zone. In the slipstream, is he going to be able to look to the inside on Scott? He's going to look to the inside, get it stopped just about. Scott gives him the room and leaves him to hang around the outside there as he pursues Davila for that 4th place position. Good racing so far from these guys. Hard racing, not too much contact as well. It seems like a lot of people are struggling for grip in these earlier stages of the race as well. We've now got a 4-car train all the way back down to P7 for the P4 position. Further up the field, it looks like the gaps aren't closing too much. We'll head back to that when we can. It looks like there's also a spinner of Sonic and Taylor. No, Davila from 4th place has spun round coming out the final corner. So it looks like everyone is really struggling for traction as Scott now into P3, Taylor up to P4, and DRS now enabled. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a DRS train. Scott leading the way for the podium position. Callum going to look to the inside. He's going to brake too early, and Taylor's going to send up the inside, get a 3-second time penalty for the track limit infringement. Look to the escape road, and he's going to hang it on the inside through turn 3. It looks like Scott's going to swoop around the outside. Brilliant racing there. He kept his foot in, and he's going to have the inside for the next corner, breaking down into 3rd gear. Bit of a lock-up, but he looks like he's going to take that position, drive himself off the track. But Callum now looking to the inside for Taylor. Very close, hard racing. Callum to the inside. Is Taylor going to look to the outside? Looks like he's going to be able to brake late enough to keep that position. Sonic now trying to make up for some lost ground, languishing in the background there while these 3 battle. Then as Callum is looking to the outside for this quick left hand throw it in corner, can't quite get the car turned in and backs out that move for the moment, looking to set up a cutback though. But Taylor's going to park his car nicely. This is all allowing Scott to drive away. Up in front, Lauren still leads the way, followed by Sarge, who's trying to get in that DRS range. Callum though in the slipstream with DRS coming into the heavy braking zone. He's going to look to the inside, look to the outside. Taylor defends to the inside. Callum on the outside then. Is he going to be able to get the move done before the corner? He outbrakes him and swoops on the outside to take the race line. So good move there by Callum up into P4 as he tries to pursue the podium man of Scott in this race so far. 3 laps in and 6 to go for this Sochi Autodrome feature race. Then Taylor looking in the background, can he stay with him in DRS as Callum looks to pursue Scott? It is going to be best for him to just try and stay in the DRS ring, not fight him too hardly, and help him drive up to Scott in front. Is anyone going to spin? It looks like they're all going to make it through cleanly this time round the final corner. Very difficult traction zone to get down, especially in these fast F2 cars. Is he in DRS range now? Not quite on this occasion, but looks like Sonic has got the DRS on Taylor. Is he close enough to make a move into turn 2? He has to back out, takes the race line, braking really late, has a bit of a lock-up, looks to the escape road, cuts over the sausage curb there, and will definitely be picking up a warning for that one. But coming through turn 3 then, you can see the car leaning there in the dirty air. Not too prevalent in Formula 2 cars, but you can definitely still feel it. And I'm sure he will not be liking that understeer, sat behind Callum there. But he is now only 5 tenths back. It is probably better for him to just sort of stick behind, use the DRS train to help close up to Scott, and they can all perhaps gain a position out of this. But further up, Sarge then in DRS range of the race leader of Lauren. It looks like he's got pretty good pace in Guan Yu Zhou's UNI Virtuosi car as he pursues the Dan Tickdom Dams. Coming in then with DRS very fast into 6th gear then in the slipstream. Is he going to be able to look into the inside? Lauren defends early to the inside. Is Sarge going to look to the outside or the inside? It looks like he's just going to hold station for the moment. Lauren defending pretty well then as Sarge is just trying to find a way through. He's really driven up to the back of Lauren, but let's see if they can hold on for the time being. Really pushing him through this section of corners then, and all going really wide, nearly hitting the Armco barrier there. Lauren dummies to the inside, just half-heartedly defending, showing him that he's not going to give this out without a fight through the final corner then, as we head on to lap 5 of 28 of this race then. And Sarge very much up on his time then with the DRS then, coming through turn 1, flat out right-hander, not really much of a corner, especially in these cars. Flat out then into turn 2. We're going on board. Is he close enough to making a move? No. Brakes early, goes for a better exit down to 2nd gear, looks to get the power down, really making the most of that inside curve then into turn 3. The flat out long left-hander and it looks like he just can't get close enough with the slipstream and dirty air, but he's going to be setting up a better sequence of corners there. Brakes too late and has to avoid the car of Lauren up in front. Very long, large gap back to the podium fight of Scott. Looks like the field is pretty spread out now. Very big pace gap between the guys in this race, but still very good action here up front. And for the podium sitters, Sonic is only a tenth behind. Is he going to be looking to the inside as Taylor locks up, not doing his tyres any good? Sonic as well, and no, he's gone wide, got over the AstroTurf, and he's spun round, and that's going to put him way out of contention, give him a bit of damage as well, and put him out of contention for that podium fight, reversing into the barrier. Definitely not doing his rear wing much good there, but he was really far on the back there, and this is going to allow Palfs into P6 position, and that is not good news for Sonic, as he was running pretty well on the back of Taylor. But Taylor himself still in DRS range of Callum, as they're still trying to fight their way through the field. It looks like Scott's cleared off from Callum, so there is literally these two for the P4 battle through the heavy braking zone. Then let's see how much he can close up, as there's a lot of lockups. Then brake discs really blowing, and let's see if he can go for a move. He is really close on this occasion. Is it better to just hit back and try and take the DRS, or is he going to look to the inside, really pushing him through the corners all over that curve there on the inside? Got a lot of pace with the slipstream and DRS. Very good racing in these F2 cars. Then locks up into the monopoly corner, nearly goes into the back of Callum into the final corner. Then is very crucial. He sets up a good run. They both lock up. It is who gets the track. Pretty even run. Taylor up on his time there. Callum back the inside with the DRS, pulls back to the racing line. Taylor with the DRS, then he's going to look to the inside, pulls to the outside. Callum holding that inside, holding his nerve, but it looks like Callum, no, Taylor's going to swoop around the outside of turn one. Is he going to push himself off the track? Yes, he is. So this is going to allow Callum to have another run up the inside into turn three. They're going to be wheel to wheel, side by side through this long flat out corner, giving each other the room. Very good racing then by these two. Taylor going to squeeze him to the outside and take that position. Can he keep it on the track on the exit though? Yes, he can. Callum then still in the slipstream though, and looking feisty to take that P4 position back off. He's not going to give this up without lock in, as Sonic has crashed, as well as Scott, the podium sitter man, as well spun round. So it's going to promote these into the podium fight. Hello Trent, thanks for joining, mate. Hope you enjoyed your present, my friend. So into P3 then is Taylor and Callum. Sarge leading the way in P2 along with Lauren, about a second back. Then he's going to be looking to get into that DRS range. But coming onto this back straight then, Callum in DRS range. The closing speed should be a lot. No overtaking mode in these Formula 2 cars, unlike the F1 cars. It's just DRS, slipstream and fuel mix. But the closing speed is still quite a lot. He's going to be looking to the inside for this heavy braking zone. Can't quite get it done on this occasion. Going to follow suit and just take the race line for the moment, setting up a switchback manoeuvre into the next chicane. Can he get close enough? Using all the track going in to set up the best run he can. Taylor setting pretty good lap times as well, covering the car where he needs to. He's definitely got good pace. It's going to be these two pretty even. It's going to be Callum or Taylor who's going to probably take that podium fight. Scott then also on a comeback charge as he spun around earlier the lap. I will remember to breathe just straight for the advice, mate. But coming down this DRS straight then into turn two, Callum to the outside. Taylor defends the inside. It's going to be a bold move around the outside if he can get it stuck. Looks there anyway, but that really was not on. Just going to get swamped on the exit. Can't quite get the power down, having to cut over that curb. Taylor holds on to that P3 position for now. Sarge now also up into DRS range of the leader of Lauren. Taylor having a bit of a lock up there into turn four. A lot of people struggling to get the power down. Scott looking back as well, trying to close up onto these guys as they start battling a lot of the lockups. Taylor goes off the track as well. Callum getting a bit shaky on the exit. Definitely going to be these two fighting out very equal on pace, and whoever has the DRS looks to be the quicker guy. You look to be quicker when you're behind. As soon as you get in front, you just can't keep that same pace. Over the sausage curve then, really unsettling the car. A lot of lockups, a lot of traction lost. You're going to find it very difficult, but Taylor, after cutting somewhere around the track, has been given a 3-second time penalty, so he needs to get a move on and try and open up the gap to Callum behind. But it looks like he's holding station with the DRS, and the closing speed is a little bit far back. Only 3 attempts, really close to the wall there as he under brake and really trying to maximise the track. Coming through the chicane then, and he's really closing up, trying to get the power down, short shifting to third. and Taylor gets a bit swamped on the exit, so Callum going to look to the inside. He doesn't do it early enough, and there's a bit of contact there. Hopefully no damage done to the car of Callum there. Very very unfortunate for him. He just didn't move late enough, didn't react quick enough to Taylor's mishap. He gets a bit of a slide then coming out of there, but manages to hold on to that position when Callum tapped him. Hopefully no damage, but coming on to this pit straight then, Callum in DRS range. Once again, Taylor looking to hold on to that P3 position. Callum sets up a nice move, gets to the inside already and is already ahead of Taylor. Can he go around the outside? Callum retakes the racing line. Fair play to him there, and Taylor gets a bit of a lock-up. Concedes that P3 position. No way was he going to be able to hold it around the outside. Also got Scott trying to close down as well, reclaim his podium fight. Further up then, Sarge and Lauren going at it a little bit as well. Taylor within a 2-10 margin. We're going to keep an eye on both battles for the time being. Sarge then looking for the race lead in the UNI Virtuosi car. Lauren getting a bit swamped on the exit. Sarge getting a pretty good run through that fast left-hander then. Lauren with a bit of a lock-up coming onto the straight. Not the most ideal thing to do. You really need a good exit. Gets a pretty good exit compared to Sarge though. Let's see if the closing speed will be enough. There's no doubt in which makes Lauren to the inside early. Trying to take a nice sweep of race line. Very nice there as Sarge goes really deep on the brakes. Going to drive himself off the track. Gets it stopped just about squirmy. And Tokyo drifting through the exit. Can't quite get the power down. So this is going to allow Lauren back out of DRS range. We're going to go back on board with Taylor as he looks to get past Callum. He goes to the inside. Goes to the outside. Goes Taylor. He's not going to be able to brake late enough. Callum goes in a bit deep though. Will Taylor be able to set back a double cut back? His nose going to sweep around the outside. Get Callum pinched with the curb, meaning he can't get on the power quite quick enough. He gets on the power just good enough to keep the Taylor though. Not going to be enough to look to the inside of the moderately hard braking zone of that chicane. We've got another comment. It go in! Of course. Just send it from 5 tenths back. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. EM looks like he spun it again under traction. Callum then looking to get a good exit coming out of the final corner. Taylor with a bit of a lock-up. He's driven himself off the track, so that's not going to give him the run he needs. Coming onto this back straight. DRS going to keep him in it then. Just about won't look to be close enough coming into turn 2, unfortunately. But looking to reclaim that P3, then these two are going to be looking for a race on that. We're now on to lap 9 of 28. About a third of the way through the race now, as he completely cuts that corner after a bit of a lock-up there, does Callum. Further down we've got Sonic and Doubler fighting for the P8 position in this race. Bit of a gap up in front, but looks like these two are going to be fighting pretty hard in the Prema and Race Lab cars. Right on the back of the men, and definitely within DRS range coming through the final corner. Sets up a good exit, gets the power down nicely, very much up on his time then, and in DRS range of Davila. Is Davila going to look to the inside pretty early? No, he's going to keep it on the outside as Sonic to the inside then, coming into turn 2, giving each other plenty of space as Sonic claims that position, but Davila is going to go really deep on the brakes, not going to be able to come to fruition though. That is just a 2. That corner just turns up too much on the exit there. It was really difficult to hold it around the outside unless you have superior grip, so he was always just going to get forced out there by Sonic, who moves himself up into P7. Obviously previously in the fight for the podium after bottling it, or before bottling it, sorry. I know, I'm breathing. Don't worry, man. They will be needing it. So. Oh, Pal's wife. Hello. Welcome to the stream as Callum peels into the pits then, the first to react. The husband definitely looking good in P6 then. He will inherit P5 as Callum peels into the pits, going for that undercut strategy on Taylor. Let's see if it works out. Very long pit stop. He's also going for a wing change. Not quite as quick pit stops in F2 as you see in Formula 1. There's only one gunman per tyre as opposed to the 3 in Formula 1. But it looks like he's going to be putting on the yellow striped tyre. It's a bit stopped on the exit, but overall a good pit stop considering the wing change. Good job there by the pit crew. So let's see if Taylor will react in this lap. Definitely should have to. We've got got about a 20-second gap to the leaders. Lauren with a 1.5-second gap out in front, really managing to stretch the legs at this stage in the race. His first race on the wheel, he's doing really well then, to be fair to him. Let's go on board with him, give him a bit of watch time, coming through this corner then, braking nicely. He's getting the steering wheel locked in, can't quite get the car turning though. He's definitely going to be struggling with understeer. Let's see how he gets on. Really smooth with the wheel, should definitely try and use the brakes to help him turn a little bit with the trail braking. No, but he's not doing too bad, turning a little bit early. He'll definitely get used to that as he progresses with his wheel. Definitely pretty tricky to get used to for some people, but he's doing pretty well. Definitely got a bit of pace to show. And if he's using any assist either, he's using no assist for his first time on wheel. Very good for him. Back to race then. Is Taylor going to react? No, he looks to stay out for another lap. Sorry about any mic mutes. Very big family, and they don't seem to be able to read the sign on the door that says don't come in. But Palv's getting really shaky on the exit there, and we go back on board with him to see him spinning coming out the final corner. Very popular place for people to spin, very difficult to get the traction down. I think he got it pretty well in keeping it out of the wall for the time being. Still in P5 though, but he won't be for very long once he comes in for a stop. These tyres must be screaming for help then, as he is locking up, spinning, definitely for everyone. So Callum with the freshest tyres of the field on the medium tyres. Ian and Davila also in the pit lane, who we've got on the medium stripe tyres. Obviously to go to the rest of the race. Definitely interesting to see what the lap times are like. We'll go to the race director to see what Sonic's lap times are. 50.1, 50.3 on that final lap was compared to Lawrence with a 49.8. So it looks like the medium tyres aren't quite coming into their own for the minute. What about compared to the fight for the podium? It looks like he is going a lot quicker than the podium man. So definitely looking to get an undercut for once he comes into pits. DRS enabled once again. I don't know why it would have been disabled, but at the moment then it looks like Callum will get the undercut on Taylor once Taylor comes into the pit lane, but then again Callum did have to get the wing changes, locking up, running himself off the track quite frequently as well, so not going to be the best for him. Ian retires from the session after crashing of what I assume was the final corner. Just gives up there and decides it is not worth it. Looks like he's going into the pit lane to retire, so there won't be a VSC or anything at the moment. Still yellow flags though, so we lose our first car from the race. And it looks like Callum has pit. Of course he has, he's the one I'm following. It's Taylor we're looking out for as he leaves the session. Goes on for another lap on his super soft purple marked tyres. And Scott still trying to chase him down, can't quite get close enough to reclaim that podium position he did once lose. No real battle going on track. We'll go on board with our race leader of Lauren then, looking pretty comfortable, 1.7 seconds ahead of Sarge. He looks to be making too many mistakes to stay in that DRS range. He really does manage to drive up to the race leader, but can't quite get past for the moment. Looks to get there and then in the dirt, yeah, make a couple of mistakes, fall out of DRS range, but it looks like the gap managed to extend. So Lauren has found their pace in the second half of the first stint. It'll be interesting to see when they all pile into the pit lane. And it looks like Lauren is coming in for a stop now, braking nicely for there. Very difficult to not get a penalty and very easy to speed into the pit lane. It looks like Sarge will take the net lead then of the race on track position as Lauren comes in for the pit stop. Should come out in front of Taylor, barring wing changes. They've got a wing ready. She doesn't think she's made too many mistakes. So just the 4 tyres to service on the car then is Taylor. He's now coming into his pits as well. He's followed the teammate in and he will be looking. It'll be interesting to see if he comes out in front of Callum or not, who's also picked up a 3-second time penalty. So Lauren coming out on those yellow striped medium tyres in second place, onto lap 13 of 28, nearly halfway through the race then, and very interesting to see how the race pans out. Sarge then leading the way. Let's see if he can go for an overcut. Running himself off the track, nearly into the wall there on the exit. Can't quite find the grip. Everyone really struggling for grip. He runs wide once again. Very easy to do here at Sochi. A lot of runoff, maybe a bit too much arguably. Perhaps why it doesn't produce a good race, and really off the track there, nearly hitting the barrier if he couldn't bring it back. Luckily he managed to do so. Very widespread field then. Be interesting to see where Taylor comes out. Is he in front of Callum? Very much far in front, so perhaps Callum made a couple of mistakes. Palps as well in the pit lane, falling back down into P6. Will Sonic overtake him? He comes to the pit limit line. It will be pretty close then, as Sonic's coming around at about 150 miles an hour. He's going to come to the pit limit line. Looks like Sonic's going to take that P6 position, so Palps will be certainly on a comeback drive to reclaim that P6 position. He once had Davila in P8. The stream brought to you by Red Bull Zero. Thought I'd try it. It doesn't taste too bad. So if you ever need a quick drink, definitely go for a Red Bull Zero. Or a cup of tea. You never go too wrong with a cup of tea. But it looks like Palps is also spun coming out of turn 2, so he's going to lose out a further position to his teammate of Davila as he falls down into what is now last place. P8 position then on these yellow medium tyres. So definitely still struggling on his wheel, but it is definitely good for him to get the competitive track time on it, just forcing in its learning. Definitely going to be a good way to learn, just making adapt to the wheel. He's not doing too bad so far. Definitely could be doing a lot worse. I've certainly seen worse of people. But Sarge comes out about 2 seconds then behind Lauren, who's managed to get a pretty good undercut then and stretch the lead by about a further 3/10. Now got 3 people watching, so if you are enjoying, guys, do make sure to like the stream. Definitely share it out to anyone who might be interested. Jack Trick, yeah. Willis is worse, and he's had his wheel for about a year now, so don't worry about that, pals, mate. You're doing bits. We'll stay on board with the new wheel man then. Oh, Willis is in the stream. I didn't know he watched these. He said earlier he didn't watch these. He's now angry in the chat. If you're watching post-race. Only joking, Willis, mate. You're alright, I guess. Alright. Just winding you up. Just winding you up. Could have sworn Willis finished last out of all of us when we went backwards today. Anyway, that is besides the point. We've got a race to be commentating. Not really much happening. Lauren leading the way, followed by Sarge. Taylor then in P3. Scott a few seconds back. Callum a while back there. He's definitely lost a lot of time then. He's lost a lot of time to his rivals then, looking to make up for it. Sonic, who still hasn't come into the pits, actually hasn't come into the pits. We'll have a look on the telemetry. Where is it? It's here. He's made one stop, so he has come into the pits, and he's pit for some fresh, super soft tyres. Trip, mate, I would not waste your money on this game. Not really the best game, but it's alright for racing, I suppose, when you know, 1.5 seconds off the coast like I am. Definitely going to stick to GT Sport and ACC. I'm definitely a lot more successful on that, and well, but Sarge looking to try and close back the gap, running them really wide, nearly into the steward marshal barrier on the outside there, the orange barrier, just almost smacked into it there with a lot of understeer. Looks like people are really struggling for grip, driving these F2 cars as if they're Formula 1 cars. There's a lot of difference in the downforce, about 13 seconds lap time difference as well. But no real battles going on track at the moment. Looks like we've got House in the pits then, potentially to repair some damage. Still got 14 laps left to go in the race. Same gloves as Sarge. Indeed you do, indeed you do. Because you're the best driver coach ever. They thought they'd get you some signed gloves from Daniel Ricciardo, you lucky knob cheese. Keep it friendly then on the stream. But then Powell's coming out with the super soft tyres, almost getting lapped by our leader. Probably won't be long until we see some blue flags being waved. Breaking a little bit too early and turning a little bit too early then for turn 2. Now I've got 5 people watching. I feel so famous. Yeah, nothing really happening then in the midpoint of the race. For viewers, that watch time is going up. It most certainly is. Trip. But you know, when Junior League starts getting recorded and you need me to commentate it, it'll be uploaded on this channel because I need the watch time. But Scott then really close to Taylor. It looks like he's really chipped away at that gap then, or Taylor has made a pretty big mistake. So then Scott back into the DRS range of Taylor in front. 5, okay. Yeah, huge chunk of time. You should definitely make a car track YouTube channel to it, you know, like the TikTok. Make a car track YouTube channel. Upload the recent videos and everything now. But now, in the DRS range then, equal wear tyres. It just definitely be down to who has the most lockups. Scott then looking to make some ground up. He's in DRS range. We've seen how good the closing speed is as he looks to get back into that P3 position after a spin earlier in the race. Cost him dearly. Taylor also having a first lap spin as well. But is he going to be close enough on this particular occasion? Doesn't look like he is. Swooping all the way to the left hand side to open up the corner for himself. He's just posted all on his. Fair enough. And 7/10 he's now in DRS. It's pretty shape then once is in it as he makes a pretty dire mistake. Open the gap a little bit in the 90-degree corners. Coming through the corner then. Let's go on to lap 17 of 28. Taylor getting a bit of a lock up, not too firm in the exit though, so he's managed to recover it. DRS then forced block 1 kilometre straight down into turn 2. Predict who is finishing top 3 in the race on track. Sonic, Dovola and House. And no, actually Ian's going to win the race. I'm calling it now. But Taylor going a little bit deep into turn 2. Scott looking to get inside, managing to close up the gap a little bit. Taylor definitely feeling the pressure now as he hangs on to that P3 and final spot of the podium. Scott then all over the back of him, making sure he keeps him honest, gets a bit of a mistake through there. Both driving themselves off the track, picking up warnings. This race could most certainly come down to penalties. How Scott hasn't got a penalty yet, I do not know. Taking that corner a lot tighter than Taylor up ahead, driving himself off the track though with that extra understeer. The front tyre is really not liking the extra load he's putting on him. But then in the slipstream, coming up to the first of DRS zones. Who is Ian? Ian's the one that's DNF'd. But Taylor then, as he leads Scott on to this back DRS straight. He's a lot closer than he was a lap previously in the DRS then. It's no doubt in coming down this back straight. Is he close enough in the slipstream? Scrambling about, trying to find the space. Is Taylor going to defend to the inside? Is Scott going to go for it up the inside? Gets it stopped just about. Very late move there. Taylor starts to turn in. Gives just enough room, and they do not come together. Luckily, Scott definitely really desperate to get past. Taylor goes in a bit deep, so does Scott. Then in that, what car is that actually? That's the Campos Racing, Jack Aiken Racing car. Up in front is the Dams Sean Galeo car, KFC sponsored. Love a bit of Kentucky Fried Chicken. But then coming on to lap 18 in the DRS zone, then 4/10 is the gap. Certainly should be able to have a good run coming down this main pit straight. Then he goes to the inside is Scott, and Scott pulls to the outside. Taylor goes with him. Looks like he's going to manage to hold on. Is Scott going to be able to get a good cutback coming into turn 3? Looks like he's got a good exit. Not going to quite come to fruition on this particular occasion. Having to push him through turn 3. It's very hard to go for a move unless you have a really good run. You can see how much they're having to fight the car to bring it over to the left-hand side for turn 4. Scott then is going to let the inside into this corner. Taylor, he goes a bit wide. This is going to be Scott's prime opportunity. He gets a good run coming out the corner. They're going to be side by side into the next right-hander. Is Taylor going to keep it on the outside? Surely he's just going to run out of road, but he manages 2 wheels over the curb. Bit edgy. Perhaps the Stewards might need to have a little look at that one. Overtook him off track there, but hard racing, and Scott still in the slipstream then, looking to reclaim that P3. Taylor making a bit of a mistake. Scott going to keep the foot and around the outside. Taylor gives him the run then, and Scott shows how you meant to overtake round the outside in DRS. Then he's got the DRS. Taylor having to depend all on that slipstream then. Scott's scrambling about, trying to find where he wants to go. He goes to the inside. Taylor having to back out. Scott in the middle of the track. He's definitely going to be setting up a cutback. Scott gets a bit of a lock up, so Taylor's going to try shoot around the outside instead of going for a cutback. Scott then still on the inside as they come in to the chicane. Taylor looking on the outside. Scott's going to squeeze him all the way out. Taylor's going to keep it back on the inside. Scott going to keep him pinched. Go for a cutback maybe. Can't quite get the power down. Taylor parking it very nicely on the apex. Scott said he had no practice before this race. Well, I mean, he is 42 seconds off the lead, so I suppose it is a bit believable, but he got some pace over Taylor as they're fighting pretty hard for this final spot on the podium then. DRS range, Taylor goes to the inside early, Scott pulls to the outside. Is he going to dummy to the inside? Runs out of the time to do it, but he's just going to soar past Taylor. Surely going to have to concede this position, and he goes for an audacious dive up the inside. Scott sweeps around the outside, keeps it on the track. Taylor then keeping his nose in just to try and throw Scott off the racing line. He's a bit wide, so Taylor's going to shuck up the inside. Is he? He's going to give him the outside from the next corner, getting the foot in, trying to get his nose in on the outside. Scott takes the racing line. Taylor's going to brake late, look to the outside. Scott over the curb, keeps hold of that P3 position. It is now his race to run now. Is he going to be able to break through of DRS? Taylor then looking to get past. Scott making the same mistake Taylor did, which is going to give deja vu, but the other way around. There's a bit of contact. There's massive contact, and Taylor's in the wall, managing to very impressively hold that slide there. Bit of a squeeze, and Taylor just clipping the rear end off Scott as he tried to squeeze him to the inside, but managing to impressively hold that and keep it out of the wall. Most importantly, he's now 1.7 seconds back of the new podium sitter of Scott, who's now 42 seconds back off our top two. Now has a 3.4 second lead over, sitting comfortably in P2, has about 2 pit stops behind to Scott. And Taylor now is looking to try and reclaim his podium place. Bit of contact then cost him that fighting chance to hold on to his position. Now 8 laps left to go in this race as Lauren still leads the way. Taylor also with a 3-second penalty, as well as Dovler and Callum. These two 3, all with penalties which will be applied to the end of the race. So perhaps, oh, and Taylor's peeling into the pit, so definitely sustained some damage in that collision with Scott. So this is definitely going to be some breathing room then for Scott. Dovler could definitely still have a chance to reclaim that P4 position then and take it from Taylor if he certainly has a wing to change. That's probably why he's coming into the pits. So with a 35-second gap, it's about 10 seconds for a wing change, 20 odd seconds for the repair overall. And he's also got a 5-second stop as well, which will cost him the position to Dovler, who round on the corner now should take P4 position. He's also gotten rid of his 5-second stop go. Negotiating the final corner, definitely going to come out as Taylor leaves his pit box, as Dovler's now coming past. He's definitely going to lose out on that P4 then, as Dovler moves up into P4 after fighting for the final position on the grid. And in the race now, a couple of laps later, finds himself in P4. He'll go anything he can in these races. Callum emerges at 3 seconds back, obviously on those fresh super soft compound tyres. Should make mincemeat of this 3-second gap. He's also got about 8 laps left in the race to manage to close down. He's gained about 3 tenths already. He just needs to stop locking up like that and get brakes pinched properly. He's gained now down to 2.6 seconds. One moment. Just making sure the mic doesn't keep glitching out. But then he is now getting it almost down to 2 seconds there through this corner. It'll be interesting to see if he can really take that P4 off Dovler, and it'll be very difficult for him to defend with those 15 lap of medium yellow stripe tyres. Still definitely possible for him to do it though. Gap now under 2 seconds. Can he get into DRS range before the home straight? Dovler goes in a little bit deep under brakes. Callum with the lockup. And Taylor as well, the person who had to pit 3 seconds back on Callum. So these are trying to close down on I think this perhaps trying to hold Callum off to allow Taylor to catch up, and then those two can squabble while he drives away, fees Callum to the shaft about Taylor. Also not too far back, he's free to pit for some fresh yellow stripe medium tyres as well. Definitely if things get spicy, and no, he's spun. Seems like every time I go to spectate Sonic, he spins around. Very unfortunate there for him as he hits the wall, picks up a little bit of damage, so will he be coming into the pit once again? Poor team, very expensive repair bill then, as he's going to be looking to get lapped by our race leader of Warren. Huck, hello my friend. How are you doing, man? Long time no see. Then Sonic goes around at that corner. Callum though, within the lap, has already closed down the gap to Dovler, fighting for that P4. Taylor's also caught up as well. So Dovler's best bet here is to try and hold Callum off long enough for Taylor to catch up so they can have a bit of sort of squabble, but Callum with his massive tyre advantage should breeze past the Dovler. And with DRS, Dovler goes in a little bit deep defending that corner. In DRS then Callum surely is going to be able to breeze past unless Dovler can be really brave on the brakes. Goes to the inside early, Callum to the outside, coming down this very fast, nearly hitting 190 miles an hour. Is Dovler going to be late enough on the brakes to reclaim the position? No. So Callum swoops around the outside to reclaim the 4th position, but he goes in a bit deep, and this has allowed Dovler to have another look around the outside, all while Taylor is catching up still. Is Dovler going to be able to keep it in the DRS range then of Callum perhaps and have another go? It looks like Callum with his grip advantage, especially on the traction, is going to breeze away from Dovler as they are going to pass the DRS detection point, and he's already out of the 1 second range. Taylor though catching up to Dovler as well on his fresh super soft tyres as we go on to lap 22. 1.6 seconds then is the gap, as I believe Pout has had a bit of a mare up in this part of the track, definitely a bit of a spin as he gets used to his wheel. Closing up the gap then is Taylor. The Shrine is now within the DRS range, 7 tenths. Can Dovler hold on a little bit better than he perhaps did with the 4th place man of Callum? Well, Huck, this is actually Formula 2, so the point in Formula 2 is go around in circles as fast as you can and try and beat everyone else. Essentially is the point. Taylor then in the slipstream. Oh no. Taylor, oh wait, no, he's breezed past Dovler then for P5. I didn't even realise. Didn't realise he'd done that. Must have been a pretty good move to breeze past with the slipstream. So Dovler now down into P6 from P4 just a couple of laps ago. It looks like he's all calmed down a bit as Pals, after perhaps that little spin, coming on to the back straight, rejoins the track in P8, not doing too bad, just learning the ropes of his new wheel. Well, I suppose it's not for everyone. Definitely entertaining for a lot of people. I find it very good for just the on-track racing rivalries and the technological advancements of the car. A lot of incredible manufacturing and technology and engineering masterpiece that goes into race cars. And the sheer speed and G-forces they brought are quite significant. Perhaps nearly getting a running to the wall, going to see his good friend Barry R. Looks like a lot of people are going to visit their new friend in this race so far, especially the one that lives coming out the final corner. Powell's running a little bit deep, then through that fast left-hander. It's technically a double left-hander, but if you get the first one right, the second one isn't much of a corner. Up the front then, Lauren still leads the way. 2 seconds to Sarge, has managed to close that up a little bit more. In a bit, Huckleberry, have a good day, my friend. So, Sarge trying to close up on Lauren. He has got the fresher tyres. We've still got 5 laps left to go in this race. Shouldn't be all over just yet. Still a lot to play for. Lauren could easily make a mistake, as could the P4 man of Callum, to promote Taylor into that P4 position. Scott then with a comfortable margin out in no man's land in P3. 50 seconds to Sarge, so it is definitely going to be a fight between these two. Perhaps if Sarge can find that extra little bit of pace in this final closing stages of the race. Looking too good for him. No, it looks like Lauren has had the really good consistency throughout the race. Sarge getting a bit caught up there, as Scott has been also given a penalty that added to his race time. Shouldn't be too effective though, as he's got 35 seconds to the car behind. Taylor then also looking to try and make a dent on the lead of Callum. Davler looking back about 4 seconds behind. Got a comfortable gap to Sonic, who has a very, very comfortable gap to Powers behind. He's just trying to get the track time in and get used to the wheel. Again, not the best race and car to be using wheel on, especially for your first time in these F2 cars. Very difficult to drive, but I suppose he's just trapped himself into the deep end and expected to learn how to swim. He's not been doing too bad. Definitely had a bit of pace, just needs to learn a little bit more. Swimming, braking, but he'll definitely get there in time. He's a very competent driver. I've seen his YouTube channel, he knows what he's talking about. So definitely on controller, he's pretty good. Let's see if he can carry it over into a wheel. Sarge making about a 4/10 gap. Close back down on the race leader of Lauren. Let's see if he can keep that pace consistently and make his way up. It looks like Callum's into the wall at the penultimate corner, coming in to the final corner. So that is Taylor up into the P4 position. Sorry I didn't catch that. He was too busy with the leader of Lauren, but Callum then into the wall. Must have made a pretty huge mistake coming in and lost the rear end. There's yellow flags in sector 1. And it's Powell's just gone a little bit slowly there. Davler also on the back of Callum. Potentially doesn't look like he's quite got the pace to make the most of this mistake. Unfortunately for him, looks like Taylor is going to be walking away with that P4 spot, unless Callum can find a bit of pace and charge after him in the final 2.5 laps we have left of this Grand Prix for the APPF1 Sunday Night Community Race here at the Sochi Autodrome. Hope you have been enjoying it so far, guys. It's been a pretty good race and when it wants to be. It looks like Callum's made a couple of extra mistakes as well, perhaps picked up a slight bit of wing damage then from his contact with the barrier. It gets a bit shaky coming off that corner as well, getting a bit caught up on the curb, so Davler could potentially find a way through. Callum goes in really deep with the lock-up then. Davler back in to DRS range, tucking in to the slipstream, going to be looking to the outside. It looks like, is that Taylor up in front? Looks like he's waiting up, but Davler looking to the outside. Callum's going to defend the inside. It looks like he's going to take a dominant charge off the race line, aim himself at the apex, goes in a little bit deep, gets swamped on the curb, so Callum's going to swap behind the outside, doesn't quite find the grip or talent to do so. He's going to brake late and look to the outside of the chicane. Looks like Davler's got it covered. It looks like it's just the lapped car of Paus up in front of him, not Taylor waiting up, unfortunately, to join this battle. Callum then looking to go for a cutback maneuver into the bottom of the corner. Can't quite get there, using all the track going in, trying to set up a good exit. Davila obviously caught up on the tighter line, doesn't get quite as good a run on Callum, so Callum with DRS as well once he gets past the activation point up the inside into turn 1 then, and will take that position back, but Davila potentially tuck back into the section, get a bit of overspeed coming into turn 2. Is he going to go for a dive up the inside? Bait Callum into a mistake. Callum locks up, goes a bit deep, not going to get the best run then. Coming in to turn 3, so Davila is going to be having a little look. Can he get the footing around the outside? Those tyres are going to be screaming for help. Callum getting a bit swamped on the apex there of turn 3, so Davila is going to swoop around the outside then and make the most of that opportunity. Squeezes him to the outside. Callum sends it around the outside, and Davila gives him the room. He gets a bit of a tank slapper though on the exit as he tries to give him the space and taps the wall himself. Callum then sending it around the outside, locking up and just about getting a bit back for the exit, and Davila making a bit of a mistake then as he falls back down into P6. But as long as he didn't sustain any damage in that previous crash, then he should be alright to carry on and potentially chase back after Callum, who looks to be struggling a bit for pace then in this latter stage of the race. Callum as well locking up once again. It looks like he's found his rhythm again. This is just helping Taylor up, and got all as well out in no man's land. 55 seconds to the car in front and 36 seconds to the car behind. Doesn't look like he's going to be shifting his position much as we go on to the last lap of this race. It looks like Lauren is looking to lap most of the field. Let's see how far back everyone is. So it looks like 2 drivers are lapped, and there's only a few seconds to lap in the rest of the field. So they have definitely driven a great race. Dropped Sarge by about a second since we last checked it upon him. I'll tell you that, definitely looking good. Is Davo then closing in on Callum. Definitely got a bit of pace in his later stages of the race. Coming on then onto the final lap of the race. Like Sonic also AO'd out, so essentially just driving about, chilling out. So actually helps if he finds a bit of pace. Maybe, you know, the AI drivers aren't too strong. But yes, Lauren and Sarge onto the final lap then. And Davila will get an extra lap as long as he doesn't get lapped on this lap. Otherwise, he will finish on the same lead lap as the car in front. But Davila on the back of Callum. 8/10 then is the gap. As he looks to be lapped, should be Lauren just to drive through him. Ghosting implemented into the F1 2020. If it was a real life, he'd be moving out of the way and conceding to blue flag conditions, but since he's ghost to the leaders, it doesn't really matter too much as Lauren looks to lap him. So this will be his final lap then, so he needs to really close up on Callum now and take that position while he can. He's got the DRS off Lauren and the slipstream to help get him through. 7/10 then is the gap. Has he got enough speed to do it? In the slipstream, we're going to be looking to overtake Callum. Is he close enough though? He's got the double slipstream from Lauren. Callum defends to the inside. Shootley gets a bit of a lock up then and does not help him, but so does Davila, and that's not going to help him on his charge to try and take that P5 position from Callum. Both ghosted though as they round the final couple of corners. Lauren looks to take a strong win if they can hold on for the final couple of corners. Looks like they will though, pretty well as she rounds the final corner. A lot of lockups in this race, but she's taken a very consistent victory. Caesar spinning house and wins this APPF1 race, followed by Sarge. Will have to make a cup of tea and wait for Scott as he tries to finish the race. Callum though manages to hold on to that P5 position, and Davila in P6. Sonic will finish the race soon as well. Scotland only just in the first sector, goes to show how dominant these two leaders have been all race, so very, very fair play to him in this race. Very good consistency from Lauren and Sarge respectively. How's looking to finish his final lap. Contact with Callum's car. Scott now on the middle back straight, looking to take a P3. Very good, strong result for Scott, considering a bit of a rough, topsy-turvy middle stint to the race. Pulled back really well though in these later stages and managed to hold on to a P3. So as long as he keeps it clean, he's got 6 seconds back to Taylor, so perhaps a couple of mistakes. So if he spins it through the penultimate corner, he could definitely potentially lose out to that P4 man there. Looks like he's going to keep it clean there and come across the line to finish a very impressive P3, unless penalties have anything to say about it. He's at net P3 for the minute. Taylor coming across the line. Is he going to take that P3 position? No, he's going to cross the line to finish an impressive P4, and Powell's just on a parade lap at this point to come across to finish P8 with the one DNF of Ian. Very good that no one else DNF, so well done to everyone. Powell can just take his time on this lap, no rush whatsoever. He's still got a minute until he gets ghosted out anyway. But round the penultimate corner to be the last of the finishes, he will come across the penultimate corner and cross the line to finish a P8. Very good for his first time on here. Not easy to drive these Formula 2 cars whatsoever. So very well done to that. Driver of the day is Sarge, I would agree. Definitely over pretty good race. I'd personally, though, give it to Lauren. They drove bloody brilliantly all race long. Kept their nose clean. Well, so the podium celebrations then. Lauren wins, followed by Sarge and Scott then. Very good race from all three of them. Very all deserving of the podium. So your final race positions were Lauren, Sarge, Scott, Taylor, Callum, Traveller, Sonic, Palfs and Ian in the non-finishing, taking a P9. Very good race from everyone. A lot of action up and down the field. Very impressive and a pleasure to commentate on. No sprint race for this, of course. Sarge taking the fastest lap though and getting an extra 2 bonus points. But overall, very good racing from all the guys here in APPF1. It's been a pleasure to commentate. Thank you guys so much for having me here for the league. I hope you do enjoy the stream and I get invited back for once again. Vote's been a bit croaky though for this race, but that race was pretty intense. A lot of orange spells though, but when it was a good race, it was a very nice show and a pleasure to commentate on. So I've been Zach and this has been APPF1.